I was Christopher Hayes, a 34-year-old architect, and I had a very strong friendship with my 15-year best friend Brandon in Denver. We had shared everything since university. When I married my wife Sarah last year, Brandon was my best man. Sarah and Brandon got along very well. But in the last 6 months, Brandon started telling me strange things about Sarah. He claimed that Sarah was cheating on me, making secret phone calls and acting suspiciously. I believed Brandon and started suspecting Sarah. But last week I found very shocking messages on Sarah's phone. Everything Brandon told me was a lie. My name is Christopher Hayes and I work at an architecture firm in Denver. I'm 34 years old and was born and raised in this city. I studied architecture at the University of Colorado, where I met my best friend Brandon Miller. Brandon also became an architect and currently works at a different firm. Brandon and I have been friends for 15 years. We share everything since our university years. We work on projects together, spend weekends together, and spend time with each other's families. Brandon is like my brother, and I trust him very much. 2 years ago, I met Sarah Thompson. Sarah is 30 years old and works as a nurse at a local hospital. She's a very beautiful, intelligent, and compassionate woman. I fell in love with her at first sight. Sarah had the same feelings for me. After dating Sarah for 6 months, I proposed to her. She accepted, and we were very happy. Brandon also supported our relationship very much. He said he really loved Sarah and was very happy for us. We got married last June. Our wedding was held in a beautiful garden outside Denver. Brandon was my best man as my closest friend. In his wedding speech, he talked about our friendship and how wonderful Sarah was. The first year of our marriage went very well. Sarah and I were very happy. Brandon also visited us frequently, and we spent time together. Sarah loved Brandon and said she got along well with him. From the beginning of this year, Brandon's behavior started to change. Brandon, who used to be very cheerful and positive, began to appear more serious and worried. He started asking questions about Sarah and wondered how our marriage was going. In March, Brandon first expressed his concerns about Sarah to me. He said Sarah had been acting differently lately and was hiding something from me. I didn't take this conversation too seriously because our marriage was very good. In April, Brandon's concerns increased. He claimed that Sarah was coming home late from work, hiding phone calls, and acting cold toward me. I told Brandon that Sarah's job was busy and she might be tired. In May, Brandon went even further. He said he suspected Sarah was seeing someone else. He claimed to have seen Sarah with different people in different places. These claims bothered me a lot, but I continued to trust Sarah. In June, Brandon's claims became more concrete. He said Sarah constantly carried her phone with her and hid her messages. He also claimed that Sarah was lying to me and hiding where she really was. Brandon's words worried me very much. Why would my best friend say such things? Maybe there really was a problem with Sarah. Brandon might be trying to protect me. In July, I started paying attention. I began observing Sarah's behavior. She really seemed to be using her phone more. Sometimes she received messages late at night. This situation started making me suspicious. In August, Brandon spoke even more clearly. He said Sarah was definitely cheating on me. He claimed to have seen her having coffee with another man. This man could have been Sarah's work colleague, but Brandon thought there was a romantic relationship. Brandon's words were starting to affect me a lot. I started being suspicious of Sarah. I was analyzing her behavior and thinking Brandon might be right. In September, I started thinking about going to a marriage counselor. I felt there were problems between Sarah and me. But first I decided to talk to Sarah. I wanted to ask her about what Brandon said. When I talked to Sarah, she was very surprised. She categorically denied the allegations that she was cheating on me. She said having coffee with work colleagues was normal and she wasn't hiding anything from me. But I could no longer trust her completely. In October, Brandon became even more insistent. He said he was sure Sarah had a secret relationship. He promised to bring me evidence and show me the truth. I also wanted to learn the truth. In November, Brandon showed me some photos. They were photos of Sarah with another man. But the photos were taken from far away and weren't clear. Still, they worried me a lot. After seeing these photos, I started acting even colder towards Sarah. I didn't trust her and constantly questioned where she was. Sarah was very upset about this situation and asked why I had changed. In December, Brandon's pressure increased even more. He suggested I think about divorcing Sarah. He said he was sure she was cheating on me and I shouldn't tolerate this anymore. I also really started thinking about divorce. What Brandon said and my observations made me suspicious of Sarah. But I wanted definitive proof before making a decision. In January, Brandon gave me more information. He said Sarah was regularly meeting with this man and they had a romantic relationship. I was now completely suspicious of Sarah. Sarah's behavior had also changed. Because of my cold attitude, she also started to distance herself. There was constant tension between us and we barely talked. In February, Brandon told me he would bring me definitive evidence one last time. He promised to find messages that would prove Sarah's affair. I also wanted to reach a conclusion. Last week, Sarah forgot her phone at home when she went to work. This was a great opportunity for me. I had a chance to verify what Brandon said. I knew the phone's password because as a married couple we knew each other's passwords. When I opened Sarah's phone, I looked at her messages. I was looking for secret messages, as Brandon said. But what I found was completely different. There were long message conversations between Brandon and Sarah. When I started reading these messages, I was shocked. Brandon was constantly bad-mouthing me to Sarah. He was saying that her marriage to me was a big mistake. He was writing that Sarah deserved a better man than me. Even more surprising was that Brandon was confessing his love to Sarah. He was saying he had loved her for a long time and I wasn't the right person for her. He was trying to separate Sarah from me. Brandon's messages also contained the lies he told me. His claim that he saw Sarah with other men was completely made up. The photos were also manipulated. Everything was planned to turn Sarah against me. Sarah's responses were very clear. She was rejecting Brandon's feelings and saying she loved me. She was asking Brandon to stay away from her. But Brandon wasn't giving up and constantly pressuring her. In the latest messages, Brandon had become even more aggressive. He was saying Sarah should leave me and trying to force her to be with him. Sarah was categorically refusing and asking Brandon to stay away from her. Sarah's last message was very emotional. She was telling Brandon to stop and writing that she was happy with me. She was stating that she realized Brandon was manipulating me using our friendship. After reading these messages, I felt very guilty. The person I called my best friend had deceived me and tried to sabotage my marriage. I had wronged Sarah and hadn't trusted her. I immediately called Sarah and apologized. I explained everything and said I had believed Brandon's lies. Sarah was very sad but forgave me. We were both very surprised by Brandon's behavior. Sarah came home early from work and we talked at length. We discussed how Brandon had manipulated for months. Sarah explained that she was uncomfortable with Brandon's behavior but hesitated to tell me. That evening I decided to confront Brandon. I called him to our house and showed him the messages on Sarah's phone. Brandon initially denied it, but the evidence was too clear. Brandon finally confessed everything. He admitted that he had been in love with Sarah for a long time and had lied to separate us. He revealed that he had used his friendship with me to try to win Sarah. This confession hurt me very much. 15 years of friendship had ended in an instant. Brandon's ability to deceive me so easily and abuse our trust was unacceptable. Brandon tried to apologize, but it was too late. He had created problems between Sarah and me and almost ruined our marriage. I asked him to leave our house and never come back. Sarah and I went to the police the next day. We reported Brandon's harassment and stalking behavior. We also filed complaints about manipulation and emotional abuse. The police questioned Brandon and recorded his behavior toward Sarah. Brandon received a restraining order and was banned from approaching Sarah. The situation was also reported to Brandon's company. He had violated company policies regarding workplace harassment. His firm launched a serious investigation. A few weeks later, Brandon was fired from his job. His professional license was also put under review. His reputation in the architecture community was seriously damaged. Sarah and I started going to marriage counseling. We got professional help to resolve the trust issues Brandon had caused. The therapist was very helpful and we strengthened our relationship. When our friends learned about the situation, they were very surprised. No one could believe Brandon could be so manipulative. But the evidence was very clear and everyone accepted the truth. The legal process continued and Brandon was convicted of harassment. He had to do community service and was required to take anger management courses. Brandon sent letters trying to apologize, but we didn't respond. The damage he caused was too great and wasn't something that could be forgiven. Sarah was especially traumatized by his behavior. Over time, Sarah's and my relationship became even stronger. This crisis brought us closer together. We now trust each other completely, and our communication has greatly improved. We made new friendships to replace Brandon. We found truly reliable and loyal friends. This experience showed us who our real friends were. Brandon's reputation in Denver's architecture community was completely finished. No one wants to work with him, and it's very difficult for him to find new work. He's experiencing the consequences of his own actions. Sarah's colleagues at the hospital also learned about the situation and were very supportive of her. They saw what a strong woman Sarah was and respected her even more. Our marriage now rests on more solid foundations. We communicate openly and hide nothing from each other. The damage Brandon caused has been repaired. This experience taught me how valuable trust is. I also saw how malicious people can manipulate under the guise of friendship. The guilt I felt toward Sarah continued for a long time. I had trouble forgiving myself for not trusting her. But Sarah was very understanding and supported me. The end of my friendship with Brandon still hurts. 15 years of memories became worthless in an instant. But I had to see his true character. I'm now much more careful when meeting new people. Understanding someone's true intentions takes time and requires patience. First impressions aren't always correct. Sarah and I are making plans for the future. We're thinking about having children and want to build a happy family. Brandon's shadow is no longer over us. Justice was served and Brandon paid the price for what he did. We also became a stronger couple. Malicious people didn't win.